Welcome back to VCT Theory. Before we get right into the video, I just want to say, Six Karma, I apologize. I was not familiar with your game. Y'all came into the plane and y'all popped off. Y'all played remarkably. And so, in case you don't know, Six Karma is sponsored by Coca-Cola. So, I just had to rep them real quick. I got my Coca-Cola sweater on right now. So let's just go, Six Karma, woo! But I can't rep them completely. I just want to say I admire the way that they did that in the plane. But, I still have to give my boys Winthrop the top, because I said they were going to be the number one rated seed for the play-in, not Ascension. I can't do that. That's a little too far, right? But so for today's video, we're going to be doing a power rankings for all the teams in VC America's Ascension. So let's get right into it.
Look who's got the energy today. Hyped up for the boys at Winthrop. And then I don't know, what is this? What is this? All the sudden hype, the sudden respect to Six Karma, repping out with the Coca-Cola gear as well. That's interesting.
Got to.
But let me introduce these tiers for you guys. We got 4 tiers. First tier is the will make playoffs. Those are the teams that we're thinking are top contenders for even potentially getting the Ascension slot. The next tier should make playoffs. We got some expectations for them, but we don't know if they're actually going to do it. Next tier is either squeaks in or bombs out. These are the teams that we always like to call as hot and cold. These guys could go on runs. It's kind of like crew always getting into champs. They like going on runs. They have a chance, or they just play it and they're gonna bomb out. And then the last tier, we got the no chance tier, where we both have no hope for these teams.
Yep.
So let's start it off with my pick, Red Canids. What do you think about that team?
Yeah, I mean, we would have you stop rating, honestly, because you had these guys highly rated, and what do you know about rating a team high anymore at this point? Them boys didn't even stand a chance. Them boys looked awful. Them boys got smoked. Like, they were literally playing their final BO3 in a game that didn't matter. Like, come on. Like, Winthrop had to literally close it out, even though it didn't matter. Like, them boys are going to get no chance. Because you already know, there's no chance. They're not even in the thing anymore. Come on now. Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I could say. I don't really have it. They're out of the tournament, so we're going to have to put them in no chance. But I'm going to be honest. The team was not playing like a team. I was expecting Red Canids, the two big RGL Meister and FRZ, to be able to guide these youngsters up. But Maestro yesterday, bro was flustered. Couple of miss alts, miss plays. Yeah, just didn't look like a team. And Winthrop, and as you just hyped them up in the beginning, Six Karma just had more solid game plans.
Yeah.
So I guess that's our first team going into no chance.
And now we got my boys coming out to play-in, Winthrop University. All right, where do you think they got them? Because I feel like I have an idea where I want to put them.
Okay, so I'll tell you this. I think Winthrop looked real good. I'll tell you this, their jerseys looked real good too. I was watching them yesterday. Those jerseys were fire. I like those jerseys. I'm going to be honest. I think after looking at all these teams, watching a couple of VODs, looking at the competition we have here, they are the lower echelon of the competition. Although they just 2-0'd. And I will tell you this, I rate teams that get some playing time in the circumstances higher because they have some experience already. They've played at the tournament, they've seen the crowd, they've seen what's happened. And Winthrop specifically, I think what's impressive for them is they were managing to make both these wins as the team from NA. They didn't really have the fans backing them. To be fair, it was not a very big fan base, but they didn't have the home crowd with them, and they managed to close these games out. So if I were to rate them honestly, I think it's in between should makes playoffs and either squeaks in or bombs out. So we're going to have to see which one between those two. If I were to give them a rating right now, I'm putting them in either squeaks in or bombs out. So what do you think about that?
You see, I kind of agree in a sense, just because they are the lowest rated NA team coming into this. I think the experience that they have coming into what's it called, the Swiss stage with all the as you said, like the no fans at the arena and everything, I feel like that helps them and elevates them to a higher spot. But I do feel like no matter what teams they play, I feel like there's gonna be 4 teams that are gonna be better than them coming into this. Yeah, no, I think there's gonna be 4 teams that are gonna be better than Winthrop going into the playoffs. So I think they're either gonna be in the squeaks or bombs out. I can't put them in the should make playoffs because I do think there are 2 teams that are gonna be better than them with better experience.
Okay. I think I can agree with that. I think they had a great showing. Again, they could go on a run, but it's hard to say because there's a couple of pretty solid teams, as you just mentioned. I think there's better teams that have the chance to make playoffs, or it's pretty guaranteed that they'll make it. So I think we can slot them in right there. All right, 9Z. the first team that we haven't seen any games. They weren't in the play-in, #1 seed in LATAM.
Mm-hmm.
They got some old faces that you guys might remember. Taco Lila from Lev. We got Nags, Klaus, and Delzik from older crew iterations. So basically a crew core, and they've brought in new blood. Souther, who's their initiator player. And I would say that from watching a couple of VODs of this team in the LATAM region, they're looking pretty good. It's pretty hard for me to rate them as a guaranteed playoff team,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say that they're pretty solid mechanics. Pretty much, as we said, old crew, and we have Takalila as their player as well as their duelist there as well. So pretty solid overall. But we saw how my take with Red Canids went. Team
Mm-hmm.
with the only team in playing with actual tier 1 experience, and they did not perform. But in this case, I think the crew core and Taco Lila probably have a better chance at that. So where would you place them here?
Let's keep talking about this tier one experience thing. You know, like 9Z, like what's it called? Taco got dropped off Lev, you know, but like I think this team is definitely, I guess, a better mesh together. But I genuinely don't think I could put them in like expectations to make playoffs, even if they were like a old crew core with Lev Duelist. But it's like it makes sense to try to put them in the should make playoffs because they played on tier one stage before, right? But just seeing the teams that are in this tournament, I just don't think I can genuinely put them in like a should make playoffs. I would honestly put them in like a squeaks in or bombs out. I think they're more likely to squeak in for the playoffs than bomb out. So I'd put them like
Right.
higher than like
So,
Winthrop.
so, so
But
you're not rating them too lowly either. You're
nah,
not gonna
nah,
be like,
nah.
this is my team that's no chance to, like, on top of Red Canids, like
Yeah.
they have no chance. But you're thinking that they're gonna also just potentially squeak in there.
I think they're definitely gonna be a better team. I think like they're. I think they have experience, and that experience will definitely take them somewhere. So I have
All
them
right,
in the
so
squeak
let
in.
me ask a question for you then. Let,
All right,
let,
go
let me
ahead.
ask a question for you. So we just talked about Winthrop. So who is the better squeak in team between Winthrop and 9Z? Who are you rating higher here? If we're
Uh,
gonna place them at the same tier, which I'm kind of agreeing you with, but do you think that 9Z will be able to beat Winthrop? My answer there is gonna be no. I think
mm,
Winthrop beats out 9Z. What do you think?
hmm. Too many times we've seen NA talent beat out any Latin American talent. Um, but let me think. Oof. I was gonna. I don't know. I'm trying to think about it because it's like Winthrop got moved. Literally, is a remarkable player. Governor doesn't quit. They lift their amazing IGL, who will literally be their core.
Yeah,
I
he's their
I
yeah,
think
he's their great player.
like I was trying to think more and more about it, but like I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna have to like it's like I got NA bias and shit, but like if I'm keeping it, nah, I'm gonna keep it real. I actually think Winthrop will beat them in a close game.
Okay. Yeah, I think I agree. I think if we go player for player as well, if
Mm-hmm.
you think about it,
Play for
I
play wise,
think
yeah.
the only player that maybe in by standards, I think Infiltrator and Taco Lila are pretty similar. I didn't
Okay.
see crazy impact out of Infiltrator, so Taco Lila could have that. But if I'm going player for player on the other roles,
Yeah.
I think Klaus gives you a shot against Governor because he can shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So shooting is there, but as you said, experience is there with Governor, and then I think all the other roles we just have the better players on
Like
Winthrop. So
yeah.
I'm if I were to place them right now, I would place them in front of 9Z in the
Okay.
either squeaks in or bombs out.
All right.
So
Cool.
if we're agreeing on that, we can move on.
Yeah, play them right there. Yep. Envy, envy, envy. Them boys different, man. Them boys running through NA challenges like it was sweet. Like there was no competition at all. They would literally just go in there, win out, and move on. Like we're gonna introduce Envy real quick. We got Inspire. He's took by Baby J. We got Eggster. One trick Euro guy. He's actually the nicest Euro in the game right now. I don't think anyone can compete with him. We have Kane Zero and Ion. Them two youngins. Them two will take it there. And then we have Poppin, the IGL of Envy. Them, them boys as a team have taken it there, and they are literally remarkable. I don't think there's any chance that we will have a differing opinion when it comes to where this is gonna go on the tier list. So I'm gonna
All
let
right.
you say what you gotta say first, and then see if we agree.
Okay. So Envy, man. So I will say they had probably one of the easiest roads, not the easiest roads, but the most dominant road, I should say, up in this league. They did get smoked here and there in a couple of Swiss stage rounds by Qbert and Core, and then they did lose the grand finals to TSM. But I
Hmm.
will say, I think in that playoff run, they might have been gassed out. The one thing that this team obviously is notorious for, rankers,
Hmm.
ranked team. They're always running this double duelist style. Kane go kill, Exter Yoru tech,
Hmm.
Ion shooting on the controller, inspiring not really, and Poppin just doing his thing with his IGL role and playing a solid, Sova fade type of game. I think it's pretty hard to rate them lowly, although they like in my head every time I think about this team, I'm like, you could beat them. You can beat them. They play like it's ranked. They play like
Hmm.
they have a lot of confidence. And TSM did beat them in that long series. But I think that that was more of them just gassing out rather than like anything crazy from TSM. Obviously, TSM, we're going to talk about them. Solid team. They got Timo there, kind of combating Kane Zera, matching him, or even leveling him up in
Yeah,
that grand final over there. But I mean, I don't know. If this team does not make playoffs, this is just a flop. I don't know how
I
else to
agree.
say it.
I agree.
It's just I have to like even if you are hating on this ranked style, if you're hating on this mindset that you should play your comfort agents and you should just go out with energy, confidence, and bang out these teams. This team has to make playoffs. If they don't, I don't know what to say. I'm putting
Hmm.
them in. Will make playoffs.
Okay, I have to agree with you. We're gonna put them in women playoff. I think the team is too good to not be placed here. Um, I feel like even though they lost to the TSM, I have to agree with you about the burnout. I also don't think it mattered too much to them. I think they got their goal of making it into Ascension, which was definitely the goal when they started, when they made rankers. They literally went all the way through challengers. They didn't lose a game, and then they just got signed by Envy. And then like the goal was to literally get them to tier 1. And I think they did everything they needed to do to get to this tournament specifically to get them to where they are right now. So I think, yeah, we just have to agree that Envy will make playoffs. I don't think there's anything else to rate them.
All right, man. Six Karma
Hmm.
proved both of us wrong. Had a solid game plan, playing together, playing a solid Valorant, pretty aggressive team. I was kind of surprised. To be fair, I had no info on them. I didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
But very aggressive team, solid game out of them. Kind of started performing worse and worse as the day went on, but they were playing back to back maps.
Yeah.
Burnouts there, lots of problems. But it's your team. So you're repping them now with the Coca-Cola gear. What do you think about Six Karma?
I see this karma. I am repping them. I have to. They surprised me. They played great Valorant. Like it looked really good to watch. But I have to keep them in the same spot. I don't really have these playing teams rated too highly. I think the teams that already made the Swiss stage were there for a reason. They're very dominant in their leagues. So I'm gonna have 6K being like squeaks in or bombs out. I think there is a very I have them like the idea that I have for them is like they're a dark horse. I think it's a team that you can't really rate low because then out of nowhere they'll just you know walk you down. Like they were walking Winthrop down initially. Winthrop like picked it up and they held them back, but like
Yeah,
Red
they
Canids,
turned up the gear
yeah,
for sure. That was a
Red Canids had no
9-3
hope.
start. Hmm.
Exactly, and then Winthrop brought it right back. But I do think six Karma is like a dark horse. So I'm gonna keep them in like the either squeaks in or bombs out range. I don't know if you agree with me, but like I feel like they just definitely have a chance of making playoffs in a dark horse type of method.
I mean, I'd like to agree with you, but I'm gonna play the devil's advocate here, and I'm gonna keep rating them low. I don't believe in them. I wouldn't say it was a fluke run because Red Canids was just not there in the play-in. It was just as if like you got a free team to play against.
Mm,
But I'm I'm more skeptical than you. You're upping them, you're giving them their shout outs, but as you said, I think that there is just the pool here is better. So I can agree with you that we can put it in the squeaks in or bombs out. But I think this is one of the teams. If you were to rate them, this is one of the teams that I would say no chance. I think
mm,
that there's really no chance that they are going to make 3 wins before the 3 losses, because that's how the Swiss stage works. Is you need to get 3 wins before 3 losses to be able to make playoffs. And I think there's just no chance. There's no chance that Six Karma is gonna pull out 3 wins, no matter who they start against, no matter who they're facing. I
Okay.
think that the teams are just much better. So, from my point of view, I'd put them at no chance. We can argue for a little
Mm.
bit and see what you think about that.
I'm not gonna put them in no chance. I think like you have to give credit where credit's due. You like you gonna talk. You can't talk this highly about Winthrop and see what Sis Karma was doing to them, as if they can't do that to any other team. I know these other teams are really really good. I'm not saying that they're gonna just beat the other teams. I just don't feel like you can rate a team so low and then like they can just do these things that just make them look way better than they did. And like they clearly look like they're ready for the stage. They clearly look like they're proper form that they can handle it. That's the only reason why I have them in
Okay.
squeaks and
Okay,
bombs
okay,
out.
you won me over. I mean, I'm gonna let you have it with you repping them with the Coca-Cola freaking gear
Okay.
up right now. I'll let you have that one.
All right
We'll put
then.
him in the squeaks in.
All right, there we go. And now we got Stallae Gaming. You see, this team is like a brand new team that I've never heard of, but I did a little bit of research on them because it's Brazil. You can't really like count out any Brazilian teams. We saw what Lau did in 22. We saw what Lau did to Fnatic in 23. You really can't count out any Brazilian teams because they breed dangerous people. All right. So Stallae Gaming, they have not a brand new roster because I don't know anything about the roster, but they have a lot of new players that I've never seen before. But they are making waves in the Brazilian scene. They're literally running through everything. They're winning these games effortlessly. So I have a position that I want to put them on this tier list, but I want to hear what you got to say about Stella.
Yeah, Stallae Gaming, man.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear about them either. Number 1 seed coming from Brazil, just smoking the playoff bracket,
Mm-hmm.
beating everybody cleanly. Like they had a couple losses in the regular season, or the regular split, I should say, split 2, but they just completely smoked every team in the playoff bracket to get here. Number 1 seed for a reason, I guess. Don't know any of these players. Like I was kind of surprised. We watched the VOD together, and they were just solid.
Yeah.
We got Team Solid coming up, but I'm not talking about them. This team, perfect, not perfect, but really good defense side protocols. They got the traps, and they got some shooters, man. This team has some hard shooters.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really fault them for anything, especially their duelist. Amazing duelist. I saw him always taking the initiative, and then they back him up. They back the duelist up.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a view for this team, and since you were asking me for my rating, I'm putting this team right up there with Envy as the top 2 favorites of making playoffs and potentially even getting up there in Ascension. I think this team probably, if I had to be not biased towards the NA side, I'm gonna rate them higher than Envy here, and I'm
Wow.
putting them at will make playoffs. So what do you think about that?
Um, I agree with the will make playoffs. I'm gonna stick with my bias though, but I do think that Stella is a very very good team, very very good team. I'm not just saying good. I think like great team. Where it's like watching them play, they are very together. They really do things in a way that like it should be for like any tier 1 team where things are done together all the time. You can see the team playing there. They're really good when it comes to the CT side where they have like all the ideas that are just flowing on, and there's so many layers that they add on to each of their rounds. And so I do definitely have them highly rated for the will make playoffs. I just can't engrave it into my mind that they will be the one to ascend over Envy. I think Envy they have something to prove, and they I think
Okay,
there's nothing
you're
to
sticking with your guns. I
stop them.
mean, you're
Yeah.
sticking with your guns. I respect it. I mean, I think that from what I watched, I think their team has less cracks or potential cracks than Envy. But
Okay.
if Envy's been working on it,
Mm-hmm.
to be fair, they're 1 and 2. I could go either way. It doesn't really matter to me. But I'll tell you this though: is if you haven't watched this team, don't be surprised that this team is sticking together. Don't be surprised that this team is gonna make great mid-round calls,
Yeah.
and don't be surprised that this team is gonna be shooting back on defense.
Yeah.
Their defensive half on all these maps that we've seen have been solid. They have a pretty good attack side as well, but I would say that defense is where they're going to be shining.
Yeah.
So just be careful for this team. If you haven't rated them highly so far, make sure that you're watching the games. They're going to be playing very nicely.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is a grand finals for the Ascension. Like to see who ascends into tier 1. So
Yeah, I agree. I think we just have to put them at will make playoffs. I mean, it
mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. I'll let you again just have the final call of what order you want to put them in.
I'm
But
going.
they're definitely 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna put them, right behind. Just a little biased, you know what I'm saying? But
Okay, a little bias coming in. Okay,
yeah,
okay, interesting.
you let it live though.
TSM, the team that looks like they've been trying to get into tier one forever. Right at the beginning of Valorant, made their roster. We got TSM Sobroza. We had him there. GMD was there right with him eventually.
Hmm.
And they left Ascension for a little bit, dropped their roster, picked them back up, and they're having a pretty good run. Beat Envy, as you can see in the finals, to get here. And I say, pretty solid team going overall. If I have to introduce the players, we got Timotino, a pretty solid young duelist. We got Seven
Yeah.
and GMD together. Seven, their initiator, Flash initiator, and then GMD, the smokes player. I've always rated GMD very highly. I'm kind of surprised that after all these years, I mean, that he hasn't been picked up as like a tier one controller.
Hmm.
He's pretty good. We got Alvin Boy in the Senti role, and we got Vora, which is their IGL. He's had to pick that up because this TSM rosters has gone through like a couple different changes throughout, and they've landed on this. And I would say overall, one of the teams that you think of as a team again. It's not really crazy star players. Although I would say that Timotino is kind of doing that right now. He's on that type of run. He's battling Kane for the most frags, most entries.
Hmm.
But what do you think about this team?
TSM, TSM. I've always been like a TSM fan, like since I like got into streaming or any like foreign media when it came to like video games and stuff. But what's it called? I definitely have TSM in a spot that I really really like, and it's because it just makes sense. Like so I'm gonna say I'm putting TSM in the should make playoffs. I think this team, granted that they won the grand finals, right? But it's not even about that. It's about the fact that they made it to Ascension last year and they went far. And now they're back again. And there's no chance that they're going out in a group stage. I think GMD and Seven won't let that happen. I think Timotino is too good of a duelist to let that happen. I think Vora and Alvin Boy are really, really good to like bring this team all the way together as a core five. I think this team makes playoffs, and I think it's. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be easy, but I think it's gonna be easy. You know, but
Okay, okay.
I
A
think
little bit of TSM fanboy coming out of you, I think.
I mean,
I I don't really like how high you're rating them. I don't really like. I'm
nah,
not. Listen,
nah.
listen, listen,
Go ahead.
listen. Relax,
I'm
relax.
listening. Go ahead.
I'm never putting this team as no chance. This
Good.
is the team that embodies the idea that you can be in the lower bracket or you can be 1 and 2 and you can end up 3 and 2 and make it to playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
It embodies that team. They could be down, but they're not out. TSM is never out.
Okay.
They've kind of had that whole style. Even in the playoffs, they got knocked down early, all the way back up.
Mm-hmm.
Winning playoffs. So I mean, I don't know what to say. I think that there are teams that match them or are better. I'm not really convinced. I will say if we are going by the categories, they should make playoffs.
Yeah.
But the problem is that TSM also has the second side. Sometimes they don't show up and they're that team that bombs out straight up. So I mean, now that I think about it, now that you've kind of gassed them up, I wouldn't rate them as highly. Okay, so you're rating them up really high, like as a team that's solid. I think that they're pretty good. Not really anything crazy from them, I would say. Um, but I think we can agree to put them in should make playoffs. I think
Yeah.
that, as you said, the team
Yeah.
has good players. They've been in this situation before. That's the
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I will agree with you is
Yeah.
that they've been in this situation before. They've had this chance, and they really want their quest to like quench their thirst.
Mm-hmm.
They need this. They're gonna try their hardest. Timotino is a great pickup. I'll tell you that right now, and I think they have a pretty good chance. But there's just no way that I can say they will make playoffs. TSM is not that type of team. So I think uh, in my head, if I had to make it like a solid prediction, they are gonna squeak in
Oh
somehow.
wow.
Okay, but I think that if we're going off of power rankings, right, which is what our expectations are, they should be making playoffs with this roster. So we
Okay.
should put them there.
All right, then we're gonna put them in Shimmy playoffs. And honestly, I was gonna call you crazy if you about to say that they couldn't make playoffs because that is crazy that much experience with GMD and Seven. If they don't make playoffs, that's and I just don't know what to say. But I think they're gonna make playoffs. I think if they don't win Ascension, they're getting picked up next year. I just don't think there's anything telling me that TSM just will not make playoffs. I know you're saying that they might squeak in, but I don't think it's gonna be a squeak in. I think the team is way too solid right now. Way too solid.
All right,
I
we'll
think
see
they
who's
fixed a lot
right.
of their cracks.
You're rating them higher. I'll rate them a little lower. We'll see who's right. So far, you've had the better of the predictions with
Uh
my
huh.
red candidate prediction.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
let's say you want to see who's right. You're gonna be 0-2 by the end of the week. So like,
All right, relax, bro. Relax, bro. It's TSM.
oh yeah, it's TSN. That's what you're saying now. You're gonna see at the end of Ascension if the TSN make playoffs, right? All right then.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right, man. We got Team Solid, number 2 seed coming out of Brazil. In case anyone doesn't know who Team Solid is, they're an old Fury core plus a player from 2G. Now, I don't really have like the highest of rankings for this team. I think they're solid, but it's really hard for me to gauge this team when it comes to this tournament. So let me hear what you got to say first.
Solid, no pun intended, huh?
Mm,
I mean, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. This is my hot take. This is my hot take for all the teams that we're gonna say. I think this team has had chances in tier one. All these players have had their chance, and they haven't shown themselves. So now the logical route, would be that they want to get back up there, right?
mm-hmm.
Bunch of solid players. I mean, I don't rate Rafa that highly. Conan is okay. Havoc has flaws. PXS we didn't get to see that much out of, but it's okay. And DG's in. I've always rated him highly, but he's had his chances.
Mm-hmm.
He's had his chances in Furia, had his chances in Loud. Doesn't really prove anything. So my hot take from if we were to place this team on this tier list, I'm putting them at no chance.
Oh,
This is my team. I
oh.
think Team Solid, solid in the name. I didn't see anything crazy bad from watching their VODs. Pretty good defensive halves, kind of choke in attack. Don't really have any attack protocols,
Mm-hmm.
not really good. But I think I'm going to take this hard claim that this is the team that has their chances, and they're not going to make it. I think that this team has no chance. I think that if we're putting up pace for pace against all these other teams, this is the team that falls flat. And I'm kind of going against my own rule, which I was kind of rating the Red Canids team very highly, in the play-in,
Mm-hmm.
rating the Brazilian team pretty highly. But I think it's different. I think they have Stallae, and Stallae is very solid,
Yeah.
very good team. And Team Solid, I can't say they're a bad team, but I think that this is the one time that experience doesn't really help them.
Mm.
When I look at all these players, I don't see the player that's going to completely make them win a round or
Yeah.
win a game itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a team. They have their experience. They could be favored in a lot of situations, but I think that this is one of the situations where the younger blood, the want to just experience tier one, is gonna beat them, and I'm putting them as easily the bottom four, one of the bottom four teams. So my hot take here is I'm putting them at no chance. What do you got? What do you got for that?
Honestly, like me being on mixed feelings about where I would put Team Solid, like I don't think I can like completely disagree with the no chance part. I think all these players, even though they were tier one at some point, it's not like they brought the tier one experience with them. You know what I mean? It's like they they've always been lackluster. Like the Fury team that played together, like they weren't good against tier one teams. And like sure they're playing tier two teams right now, but these tier two teams are trying to get to tier one. And I just don't feel like they're better than them. I think I would just have to agree with you. Honestly,
I was expecting more fight back. I'm gonna
I
be honest.
I
I thought you were gonna fight for the Team Solid team, but
I,
yeah, I mean, I think it's
can't.
a fair take. I
Yeah.
think that it's not too like it's not too far fetched.
Mm,
It's a team that had their chances, and I mean they could prove me wrong again, just like how Six Karma proved us wrong, and
mm-hmm.
how Red Canids just bombed out and destroyed my expectations. But I think that it's just a team that doesn't have great players. One and two, I didn't see crazy team play from them.
Yeah.
When you don't have these like Timotinos, these Kane Zeras, these players that will win you the rounds just by themselves, you need to have a very strong team aspect of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And they did beat Red Canids 3-0,
Yeah.
but we just saw Red Canids play, and that means nothing.
Ow. At all.
Beating Red Canids is just like it's like sipping your cup of
Mm,
water.
mm-hmm.
Like, doesn't really mean anything to me. So I think that it's pretty simple. I'm putting them at no chance, and if you agree, I think we should just slot them in there.
I agree with you. The only thing that I would say is Team Solid feels like a team that if they played CT side for 24 rounds, they would definitely be a should make playoffs type of team. But you can't play 24 rounds of CT, because their CT is genuinely pretty good, but they just don't work that way. So I'm just gonna have to agree with you and put them in no chance.
Last but not the least, we got ShindeN,
Mhm.
Argentinian org. They got players from everywhere. We got players from Chile, we got some Brazilians, we got some Argentinians. Only thing to note about this team is that they are like an upcoming team, new team. They got Vase, old, very old, 2021 before franchising Lev, and they got Miras, who has played in MIBR as well.
Okay.
And then the rest of them are new blood. They got Nito, SNW, David, and Rub. And I don't know, this team's interesting. If you take a look at a glance at this team, they are looking pretty good. Beat Six Karma, obviously playing LATAM. They did lose to 9Z, which we talked about earlier, but it's an interesting looking team. It looks like a team that likes to fight. They go on slumps, but then they come back, and it's like it's hard to predict them. So
Mm.
let's let you predict first. What do you think about this team?
All right, I'm gonna have to throw them in a either squeaks in or bombs out. I don't feel like there's like definite teams that have to be in the should make playoffs. I feel like there's only like two of them that we know for sure should be in the playoffs. Will make playoffs, right? But I'm gonna throw them in the squeaks in. I feel like these four teams that I would throw in the squeaks in with the Winthrop, the 9 seed, the Sis Karma, and now the ShindeN. I feel like it's just I feel like they might just battle for mid, and like not even like when I mean mid, I mean just like mid tier teams. It's like I think they'll just battle for the final spot in the playoffs. I feel like it's weird to gauge them because like new blood, new experiences in Ascension. Anything can really happen. But they are in Latin America. Playing in Brazil. I think it won't be too difficult for them to adjust to the environment. So I'll put them in the squeaks in or bombs out. I think I'll put them. I'm not putting them higher than Six Karma personally. You might, but I think they belong in the squeaks in or bombs out range.
Okay. I mean, if I had to rate them from what I've seen, I definitely rate them higher than Six Karma, but
Mm-hmm.
they just have a pretty good track record against them, 3-1 and 2-0 in their matches.
Mm-hmm.
So they're kind of putting them away. So they might have something on them. Obviously, both LATAM teams, and they're playing it well. The one thing that's interesting about like the LATAM region is that it's a lot more like non-uniform. ShindeN back in the playoffs did even beat 9Z.
Mm-hmm.
Before then, 9Z beat them again in the grands.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of back and forth between this region, and I kind of agree. I mean, I can't really be like, yeah, I want them to make playoffs or they should make playoffs. Even it's like an either squeaks in or bombs out team. I think we have that down. I think it's pretty accurate. But I will say that the one thing that ShindeN has that specifically Team Solid I didn't see is that ShindeN the team seems more like a team. Again, I don't know these like players. It looked like Neto was like probably their star player. I was seeing some rounds out of David as well, but I mean they they like they are the up and comer. They have some little experience in T1 in Vase and Miras, but they looked like a better team. So
Okay.
I'll rate them higher there.
So where would you put ShindeN then? Would you put them above 9Z since they beat them previously, or would you put them above Sis Karma? Because I know you said you wouldn't put them behind Sis Karma at all. So where would you place them?
I mean, I don't know. It's really just tough. As you said, all these teams that we're naming, it's just whoever performs on the day.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's literally like not a coin toss, but they're pretty similar. As I said, I wouldn't have rated Six Karma even in this league, as you said. So I can't put them there. But between 9Z and ShindeN, I think that it really just depends on who shows up on the day. You
Okay.
know, if I were to bringing the experience call again, clearly 9Z is the more experienced team, but that didn't really serve me well. But I don't really have an opinion on this. You could really put them as 1 and 2 or 2 and 1. Doesn't really matter to me. If I had to make a choice, I would place 9Z ahead of them. But
Okay.
I don't really have like any strong reasons for it, if you get me.
I'll place them ahead of them for now, but I'm still gonna rep Six Karma. I do think that even though they beat Six Karma twice, I think Six Karma has the stage advantage of experience there, and I think they will definitely want revenge back for losing to them twice. Like losing 5 maps to the same team in the same tournament, and you got to play them again. I think if they ever have to play them again, I think they would definitely be in a better position to beat them with the stage experience that they have.
Yeah, I'll definitely tell you it's gonna be a close game. You know, Six Karma clearly showed us that they're not going outside. You know, like they're not going outside. They have the experience, and we're gonna just see what happens. I think we're in a good spot here with everybody we've placed.
Mm-hmm.
We have someone for at least each category. We Red Canids is in there just for fun. But I think we have we have a solid idea of what's going on, and I think I'm good with this. I think I can
Yeah,
agree with this tier list.
me too. I agree with it. Let us know what you think about the tier list and any changes that you would make. Any teams that be rated too highly or too low. And what teams will you be cheering for to ascend? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.